Hello, my name is Clara from Creations by Claire. In this video, I will upcycle two projects. The first is a gift from my ex-husband's grandparents. I always liked this and appreciated this gift because they both did not have much and they spent the time to find this and spend their money and give me this gift. So the ceramic hot plate was just being held by three little stickers. So now I'm going to make sure it's secure with some strong glue after I repaint and upcycle it. So after I cleaned it well, I'm going to paint the dish and the metal. The metal frame is I'm using ink chalk paint by Waverly, and I'm going to give it 2 coats. I'm going to paint the ceramic dish with plaster chalk paint, giving it 3 coats. After the 3rd coat is dried, I will decoupage the words La Cocina de Clara, which means Clara's or Clara's kitchen. Print it on regular printer paper using reverse font on the software Google Drawings. Here I'm going to share with you some quick version of the steps. I do have a full separate video on how to create this using Google Drawings, and I will list the video in the description. I did take some estimated measurements of how wide and how tall I wanted the font and used a little ruler to the left of the program. You can see the little ruler on the side and on the top. And here's my little crafting buddy, my old guy. He's, I think, 80 something years old in dog years. And I printed out the font on regular paper. And I printed Claire. I wasn't too sure if I wanted to do Claire or Clara, but Clara won out to keep it the same as the original name on the hot plate. I'm using Mod Podge to decoupage the font to the plate with a light coat of Mod Podge. And I will allow this to dry for 24 hours before trying to remove it with a wet napkin. Also, I trimmed as much as I could on the excess paper because even though you rub it off, it's still going to leave a very light film on the item. I'm going to be using this mold that I purchased from Amazon using air-dried clay and applying a little bit of cornstarch so that the clay can easily release from the mold. And decided to use clay molding rather than put a transfer or decoupage to just kind of change it just a little bit. And I will be painting the flowers in orange to kind of make them look like marigolds, because I believe the original painting on the hot plate were marigolds. I'm using my favorite glue, E6000, to glue the clay to the ceramic dish. I'm using the popsicle stick just to quickly spread the glue on the flower. And I cleaned up any excess with the baby wipe. And some of the stems did break or didn't make well with these molds. These molds are very, very thin. They're not as thick as the the IOD molds, so they break kind of easily. But I made it just kind of made a stem by rolling up a little clay and just attaching it with the leaves to the flower, and then trying to arrange as best I could to make it look kind of natural. And I did have a mold for making butterflies, so uh, got one, two on the very top. Also, I made some extra leaves on the molds and tried to lay them out and design it as natural as I could. I think it came out kind of pretty. You can paint the clay as soon as you glue them. Just be very gentle because may you don't want to mess up the design, and it also helps cracking of the clay. Now 24 hours later, now I'm going to remove the paper using a wet paper towel, and just to wet it, and then I rub it off with my finger. If it doesn't rub all the way off, I'll wait a few minutes, letting it dry, and then I come back and wet it a little bit more, and then I rub the remaining of the paper. And like I said earlier, you're gonna still have a little bit of film that's going to be remaining, and you can paint it with the color that you're painting the base to cover that up. Now I'm brushing on this Dixie Belle white wax for the purpose of applying antique wax. It's going to be a dark wax, and I can easily rub it off if I have this wax up under it. So now I'm going to paint the acrylic, the pure orange on the roses to hopefully they look like marigolds. They look like marigolds to me, I think. What do you think? And the leaves, I'll paint them a green, And the butterflies, I'll be using the blue and a yellow color. Now I'm applying the antique wax, and it's kind of a dark brown. So I just partially paint it, and then I'm going to rub it off with the baby wipe. And I did debate whether I should leave it the way it is or not apply the antique wax. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. I really would appreciate your feedback. I did water down the antique wax with a couple drops of water and a drop of the wax to lighten up the darkness. Now I'm applying the antique wax on the metal frame, but it actually I shouldn't have used the water down. The full strength showed up much better, or just a little bit better. The antique wax was a little dark, so I went ahead and applied some white wax to lighten it up a little, and went ahead and decided to paint it onto the metal frame. I'll be using E6000 glue and applying it directly to the metal plate, and then applying the ceramic plate. And this should hold pretty well. And I don't know if anybody noticed, I did boo-boo. I used a decoupage the wrong uh, printed font. I misspelled cocina, C-O, it should be C-O-C-I-N-A, not the N, C-O-C-O-N. But it was an easy fix. I just removed that first decoupage and repainted it with the color pastel chalk paint, and then reapplied the vintage wax. And now I'm applying also on the back to make it all cohesive. We'll apply 2 coats of polyacrylic to seal the hot plate. And here's the finished hot plate for Clara, for La Cocina de Clara. I hope you like this. And here's Upcycle number 2. It's an ornate scroll wall decor. I purchased this at Goodwill for $4.99 some months ago. The size of it is a 15 and a quarter by 15 and a quarter, and it's about a half an inch thick. And it looked like it had gotten wet. There's some like looked like water spots, but it looked like it cleaned off with the baby wipe. So I cleaned it very well, uh, all over front and back and in between the uh, the carvings. This is not real wood, but you could see that it was carved because of the different sizes of the scrolls. So I asked my daughter for assistance to decide the final color, and she really liked the original. So luckily I had a chalk paint, the color moss, which is very similar to the original. So the first color is going to be black, and then I'll apply the color moss, and then I'll be distressing in various areas around the this wall decor. As I'm painting this decor also could have been would have been real beautiful in entirely in black with some gold highlights, I believe. But this is very relaxing painting these swirls and this scrolls, hand carved designs. Just very relaxing. I don't know what how to explain it. I will give it a second coat of moss chalk paint after the first one dries. And now I'm applying the second coat of moss chalk paint. And now I'm going to distress certain areas of the decor. Though I should have done this almost immediately, but I walked off. I don't know, it must have been about an hour and it dried up. So when you want to do this, you should kind of do this right away so the chalk paint could a little easier. But I got it off, just a little harder rubbing. So here around the flower, decided to do the little edges and just various parts that just caught my eye. So this is not real wood. So on this one little portion of the look like a leaf, I glued it with the glue and held it with this pin, and that worked very well. So I'm applying these pure gold metallic acrylic by Folk Art in various areas around the decor. I initially I started with this other gold paint. It was just an acrylic gold paint, but it looked yellowish, too yellow. So So that's why I switched to this metallic gold. And I think it looked much nicer. And in some areas I am rubbing it off. And now I will apply the Dixie Belle white wax to some of the areas. It looks just makes the swirls, the squirrels, the the squirrels, the hand carved swirls pop very well, very pretty. And now to finish the back, I'm using the moss chalk paint, and also to make it look more cohesive, and just looks not lot nicer in the back if you happen to turn it around. And luckily there's two sawtooth hangers already installed, already attached, and they're in pretty good condition, so I won't have to adjust that. Now I will apply this polyacrylic top coat, 3 coats. I will let it dry in between coats to make sure it is well protected from now on. Here's my completed, beautiful, ornate scroll wall decor. This will be available on my eBay store soon. I do appreciate you watching my video and hope you were inspired or love this project. If so, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.